Guys, my name is Cerebellum. This is Academy of the Ancients, and we're going to be doing a replay review for Matcuth's Jakiro here. Now, I'm going to be going over Jakiro's abilities and how I think he should be played. Jakiro, one of my favorite heroes, so I have a lot to say about him. It's probably going to take a little bit of a while, so I'll put in a link so you can just skip forward to the actual game if you think you know what's up with this hero. So let's just dive right into it. Let's just take the skills one at a time here. So Jakiro is an int hero, he's a caster. I think he should be played as a hard support, meaning that he's the lowest priority in items. He should be getting the courier, he should be getting the wards, because he pretty much just needs arcane boots and then he's set. So with regard to abilities, we have dual breath. This is a conical, like in front of him. He spreads a cone of fire and ice. It slows enemy movement by 30%. It slows enemy attack by 30%. And it lasts 5 seconds. When you level it, you get a lot more damage for the first few levels, or you get a lot more damage when you level it. It becomes a little bit more expensive, has the same cooldown, same area of effect. So I think this is a really good ability to have 1 or 2 points in early on. Like it's a long DOT effect, so the damage is kind of secondary to me, though you do get more than double the damage from that level too, so that's why I recommend 2 skill points in that. It's a really good slow, like 30% for 5 seconds is a long time, long time. We're gonna see Jakiro lane here with the Phantom Assassin, so I think this is a login for the first skill level. We're not gonna see that though, and I think that's a big mistake. I'll get more into that later. So then we have Ice Path. Now Ice Path is a long range stun. Like it has 1100 range, which is very far. I think it could reach over here about. But the thing is, it takes half a second for it to form. Like half a second might not sound like a lot, but you know it's a lot. Like if you were up against a hero like Anti-Mage here, for instance, if he's awake and he sees you start the animation, he can just blink away. Like that's an instant ability. So he actually has plenty of time to just blink out of the way of it. So you kind of have to be tricky. You kind of have to hide yourself. To kind of have to just throw it into a chaotic team fight. Then it's pretty good. It doesn't last very long. It has a 1 second duration at level 1. It always does 50 damage. When you skill it up, it gets more duration and it gets, lower cooldown. So, a bit lower cooldown, but its duration increases significantly. So, by all means, don't skill it up. It's really good once you get into the later game. But in my opinion, stick with 1 point in this and then skill up the other 2 abilities here. Liquid Fire. Liquid Fire is kind of a replacement attack form. Once in a while, if this is off cooldown, you can do 1 attack. That's going to be AoE. It's going to do burn damage, and it's going to slow attack. And this is an ability he's going to focus a lot on in this game. Primarily, I think this is good to be used in team fights, because you can hit a lot of enemy heroes, and you have a lot of right clickers. Then they lose a lot of their attack speed, which negates a lot of damage. It does do a decent amount of damage, especially for a free ability that doesn't cost any mana to use. You can auto-cast it just by right-clicking it, and he'll just auto-cast it. And then it's also really good to use for taking down towers, because it also slows down towers' attack speed. It doesn't do a super amount of damage to towers, but it slows down their attack speed, so they do less damage, so your creep lasts longer. And if he has a few heroes in backup, he can help take down a tower very easily. It also works on Roshan. Really good hero to have versus Roshan, because all these 3 abilities hit Roshan. You can slow down his attack by a lot. You can stun him with Ice Path. It's really good, honestly. And then we have one thing with Liquid Fire. A lot of people like to harass in lane with it, but I think that's a pretty bad idea, and I'm gonna explain why once we come to the laning stage here in a little bit. So, his ultimate Macropire is, in my opinion, by far his weakest ability. It can be really good. Like, if you have a Clockwork on your team, if you have a Faceless Void on your team, if you have a Disruptor, if you have a Treant Protector. Anyone who can lock down enemy heroes for a significant amount of time, which will keep them in place so that they take the max amount of damage from the Macropire, then it's good. Then it's good, by all means skill it, else I think stay away from it. It costs so much mana. Like it's almost twice the mana of most of his abilities at the low levels. Like its Ice Path is 90 mana, it's more than 2 Ice Paths at the first level. And that's just not worth it, I think, because it destroys trees. It's just hard to keep players in there, and if you're relying on your enemies just basically ignoring and taking a bunch of damage from it that way, you're gonna end up with a very unreliable ability that takes up a lot of mana. And again, if you don't get this, you become that much less mana dependent, and that's really good for a hard support. So you know, so you can basically, if you're just casting these two abilities and this is free, then with Arcane Boots you're pretty much set mana wise. Then you can just buy all the wards, get the couriers, get the smokes if you need, get the sentry wards, the dusts, and you know your team will be that much stronger for it. So if you have something to combo with it, by all means get it, else, you know, just skip it. It's fine. Yeah, so team composition wise, I'm just gonna start the video here and we're gonna close this. Team composition wise, I think this team composition is a bit better than this, just because this is just loaded with carries. Like, all of these heroes can be played as carries, and I have a hunch that we are low enough that that's what we're gonna see. So Jakiro, really good support. Abaddon can be played as support. Hopefully that's what we would see, and it would this would be a pretty decent team composition. Then we've got two good mid heroes, two good snowballers, and Phantom Assassin who can play a pretty decent carry. So that's really good. Pretty good game to be Jakiro in, just because of all his attacks low. Really hurts the Anti-Mage, really hurts the Terrorblade, really hurts the Mirana. Can hurt the Naga depending on, you know, build. If she's going Radiance, obviously that doesn't impact it too much. Starting items. Not an unconditional fan of these Ironwood branches. Certainly not over wards. Like, he did get the Courier, which is the absolute minimum, but you absolutely should get wards. Like, definitely should get wards. There not being any wards, no wards to spot this haste rune up here, is a pretty big deficit. I like that he's back here blocking the creeps. That's absolutely the right thing to do, and he's actually doing a really good job. Or he was doing a really good job. If you could caught this one and just had the range creep leading, that would have been a lot better. Of course, in this stretch, in the safe lane, in this stretch down here, the creeps get a speed boost, so it's really difficult to block them here. If he'd come in here, they would be moving slower, so he could easier block them. He's gonna scale up the liquid fire first, as I thought he would, and he's gonna use it to harass in lane. As you can see, it affects the creeps, which means it does damage to the creeps, and it makes the creeps do less damage, and that's bad. It's counterintuitive if you don't know about, you know, how last hitting and creep equilibrium works. But it's really bad because it essentially pushes the lane, which means we're moving closer to the enemy tower. Which is bad because we don't want to be close to the enemy tower, because then it's easier for them to get last hits, but we can't get last hits without going into tower range and risking a lot of damage, and it being easier for them to kind of jump on us. So yeah, that's really bad. These Ironwood branches certainly should have been wards, probably. Even then, I think a magic stick, if you'd guessed you go up against a Skywrath who likes to spam spells, then certainly a magic stick is a really good idea, just because you're gonna get charges on it really fast. Yeah. Jakiro, though, pretty good matchup against a Skywrath, just because his int is really good. He gets 2.8 per level, which is really high. He also gets a lot of strength per level, generally a very tanky support, like already 700 HP. If we take a look at Phantom, she is at 549, so Jakiro, very good in that sense. He also has 2 armor, which is pretty good. Pretty good. But certainly at least drop 1 Ironwood branch and get a Clarity Potion. I think that's much better. He's gonna skill up Icecraft level 2. I think this is pretty pointless. This skill with 1 level doesn't do any damage, so unless you are trying to kill them with it or trying to save one with it, just hold off on using it, because you're really not disrupting them anything at all. Like, 1 second stun isn't that much. 50 damage is actually less than a right click. It's certainly also with the magic resistance is less than a right click. So this is it's a pathetic skill damage wise. It's hard to hit with. You know, get the dual breath. The dual breath is just so much better. And we're gonna see, just as I said, the creep wave is gonna push way up to the tower now. You can see Phantom Assassin is feeling pressure to just play passive. She's gonna not get any last hits, and this is a huge problem in the lane. Like, he's doing a good job of harassing the enemy heroes down, so in that way it's good. But it's just, you know, it's not ideal. Like, I think even for if you want to get a kill, dual breath is also better, because it does a lot more damage, and that 5 second slow, 5 second 30% slow is really powerful. Like that, especially when you have a melee hero in lane with you, that can just be so good.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, a little bit of action here. Gonna get the second level in liquid fire now. I don't agree with this. I think dual breath is just so powerful in the early game. Really should get that skill. But I mean, the enemy heroes being, you know, overly confident here. He's gonna pay for it. Nice Sunstrike from the Invoker. Pretty much on point. And something I don't know what it means there. We're gonna see the magic stick here. It's pretty good. We're gonna see these being used to make a magic wand. I think actually it would be better to just switch one of these for clarity. Keep the magic stick as a magic stick, and then go build mech with these later on. That would be my choice with these armored branches. Jakiro is a pretty good carrier for the mech, just because he's got so much HP. He's not likely to be bursted down. Yeah, and he has the mana pool that can, you know, if you don't go for the macropire, he has the mana pool that can afford to use it pretty easily. So they're gonna trade a Terrorblade here for the Phantom Assassin, which is not worth it in my opinion. That's not really Jakiro's fault, except for, you know, he pushed the lane up so much. But I think, yeah, he's being way too far forward here. He can't solo the Skywrath, even though he doesn't take so much damage from the Skywrath. It's still enough to, you know, bring him very low here. Good Ice Path. Yeah. And now he's got a back. So, okay, the Magic Wand is really good against the Skywrath. Like we just saw when he chased him down there, he used like 5 spells. But, you know, a Magic Stick would do 90% of that. Like, it's just, you're not gonna get up to 15 charges this early unless you're in a major team fight, or unless you're against someone who like 2 spamming heroes. And you're not, so... And this is really what's come of him not getting wards, is he's been able to afford this Magic Stick. And maybe slightly earlier booster speed. So I don't think that's worth it at all. I don't think he's been using that enough for it to excuse the lack of wards here, for instance, and the lack of, you know, wards for runes and stuff.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So I think definitely a better build is just to get 2 levels of... okay, yeah, we're gonna have a bit of engagement. I should probably talk about that, but we have a pause as well, so I'm just gonna go over these skills. We've got, I think, a better build is a point in dual breath to start out with, 1 point in Ice Path, then another point in dual breath. You don't get liquid fire early because you don't want to use it in lane, because you don't want to push the lane. Unless you're going some sort of, like, we want to push the tower super early, then of course, by all means get it, but that's a bit more advanced. I don't think you're gonna be able to do that unless you're with like a bunch of friends or something. You can talk about the strategy. So get this in the mid game. Spend your first 3 levels on these 2, then get points in these over here. Like just just max it out from there, and you'll be pushing towers and helping take Roshan in the mid game and all kinds of good stuff like that. And kind of, you know, once the game moves into the team fighting stage, like you don't, like when you move out the laning stage is really when this skill kind of shines. So I think that would have been a better build. Righty, so let's just speed this up and get past this this pause. Oh, there we go. Oh, what now? Okay. So a bit of pause toggling there. Yeah, so we see he's already getting some good charges on the Magic Wand, so this isn't, you know, I've been harping about this a little bit, but just honestly, it's more about him not getting wards than it is about him getting this. Like, it's obviously getting charges, it's really good. There's decent activation of it. I think he could have held off on it. If you hold off on it, you can maybe get the Terrorblade to connect a little bit more. You can get a few more charges if they use it, and just, you know, time it for when you're really low, and then you can kinda mess them up even more with it. So now he should definitely return, like he doesn't have any business hanging around out here with no health. He's not contributing anything to the lane, he should definitely back out now. Like, this should both back out, they've been pressured too much. Yeah, they're just, like, they're not getting anything from this. All they're doing is kind of risking a lot. So this is a get out of town scenario. If one of the enemy heroes loops around here, and they just pincer them, then I think they're both dead. Like, unless they can do a Duke of the Year down here. Neither of them have any regen, I think. Yeah. So they're just, you know, he's only getting 1.3 HP a second. This is a huge kind of UV error here. They're just, and going forward here is completely out of the question. Like, he's half dead just from that. So this is really, really, really bad. Like, I don't know what the hell they're doing. So now they got tangos, which, you know, that's not a good idea. This is just pointless. And don't, you know, you can't stack tangos. So wait until it expires. Don't use them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, I think actually he only used one there. Yeah, because it has a huge cooldown. So, you know, don't get regens. If you're gonna, don't get regens after, you know, the initial ones. That's often really, really bad. Like, getting a bottle is kind of replenishable regen, but you want some permanent item for your money after that. Else you're just kind of, think of it as denying yourself. You're just kind of giving up 2-3 last hits there without, you know, having to. So they ended up not dying, but they honestly should have. Jakiro is still very low, like very, very low. So, still not out of the woods here. And they're gonna get pincered here. No wards means not being able to see the Mirana coming. She doesn't even have to use like Moonlight Shadow or anything. But they're both gonna die. So this was a combination of hanging around with not a lot of life and not having any wards that kind of did them in there. Of course, we don't have the team communication. We don't have any of the missed calls, so we can't see what's going on. Looks like the Mirana's crushing though. Let's just take a look at that real quick. Yeah, she's doing pretty well. She's even got a Midas and 4-0. This is a really, really scary Mirana. Like, she's doing really well. So Jakiro is gonna go up top here, looking for a kill up here. This is a pretty good rotation. He should not show himself. I don't know if he's showed himself so far. Yeah, he's gonna whiff the Ice Path. Really easy skill to whiff. I talked about at length before about how hard it is to hit with. And this is gonna be a good showcase of why.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Now we've got another pause. So there's a lot of pauses going on. Naga Siren gonna throw out her ult just to be safe.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're probably gonna get the top tower here, and this is really the situation where Jakiro can push in. He's got a few heroes and back up, and they can just take it really easily. Though I don't know if Jakiro is really necessary here. And yeah, of course, this means that the Phantom Assassin is down here farming on her own, and at a huge risk, which I don't like in this case. Certainly they're overextending now. All 5 of the enemy heroes are out. They have no ward vision. They could be pincered down really, really easily. Like, even if the enemies just TP over here, they could be killed really easily. This is huge risk. There are only 2 here. Yeah, now they're just gonna get messed up. I don't see any way this should work for them. There's just gonna be an arrow here, point blank arrow. Or what? Yeah, point blank arrow. That's a dead Night Stalker. Overcommit, gonna pay for it. Yeah. They're just gonna chase, and he's just gonna run. And it's gonna be bad times.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
When you're up against Mirana, you have to have your camera on her, because she can just throw out that arrow. I don't know if there's time to dodge there, but she's getting seriously big. And that was honestly a feat, like going as far as the second tower here, or another feat, because it's not deliberate, but it's really bad. Yeah, okay. Good use of Moonlight Shadow there to save the Sky Raft. There's another thing Jakiro could do here. Just buy the damn Sentry Walls of Dust or something. Help out against the Moonlight Shadow. Yeah, it might seem like, oh, he still doesn't have his mana boots. It's so hard being support. I don't have any items. But you know, you don't need it. Like, you have mana enough. You are at nearly 900 health, 3 armor. You do. Also, I mean, he's pretty tanky. He doesn't need anymore. Again, doing a pretty good job here. Combination of the Forge Spirits with Jakiro here, gonna make it pretty easy to push down the tower. So this is pretty good. But honestly, like, if you what you want to do is push towers, a hero like Pugna or Death Prophet or Dragon Knight or Shadow Shaman or Leshrac or Lycan or say, if you want to split push, of course, a Nature Prophet, or a Tinker, or pretty much a lot of other heroes I think are better at split pushing. And Jakiro, more of a lane support, and now he's just gonna be caught out of position. Like, he's just wandering around out here on his own. This should not work out for him, except they're up against a really low farm Terrorblade, and the others kind of reacted pretty slowly. So he should have been caught out there much easier, but the Terrorblade was kind of just dirtling around instead of doing it properly. So Mirana gotta get yet another kill. Jakiro can't really hope to take her on here. I don't know why he's trying to man-fight her, because he's just gonna die here. Yeah. Or he's gonna get out, but he definitely can't take her. Juked.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
There's Invoker. Okay, Invoker's got decent farm, so maybe they can kill her now.
Dire's
Should
top
definitely
tower
die fast there.
fallen.
Okay, they're gonna get her anyway. That was a huge kill, by the way, huge kill. Looks like he's going for mech. Like that, obviously. Talked about it just before. Yeah, should definitely build the... okay, yeah. Definitely build the buckler before the headdress. Much more
Radiant's
important. That
bottom
5
tower
armor
is
is
under
really, really good. So yeah, like they've done a good job pushing. I would honestly say that's as much because of his teammates as for Jakiro. I don't think the Liquid Fire is doing super much there. He's gonna hang around again with 2 little life. Pretty big mistake again, but now they're gonna get a good trade for it at least. They're gonna get the Abaddon, or not the Abaddon, the Terrorblade, and they're gonna get the Skywrath for it. So that ended up being good, but still, like, I don't think, you know, these traded tangos, shared tangos, are not gonna get you up to full health. Like, he has too much health for that. And you know, just back if you're too low. Especially, like, this is a really bad combination with hanging around too long and not having any wards. Means that you're gonna get caught out a lot. Means that you're gonna, you know, get caught out with no life and no high buff. This TP I don't like. Should definitely be going mid. Like, I don't see really what kind of... This guy can't grab farm, by the way. He has a pretty bad attack animation. He's got no instant damage. The only instant damage he has is Ice Path. I've actually seen pros use Macropire to farm because that's his best farming ability, honestly. And that's, you know, that's not a good farming ability. It's really expensive for a farming ability and has a long cooldown. So, you know, not good. Not good. It looks like he wants to push the tower, but let's just see. We're at 4 minutes 14:50. There's a fight going on in here. All the higher priority heroes are doing stuff in here that's actually important. Jakiro is just gonna spend the better part of, you know,
Dire's
there we go.
bottom tower has
Tower
fallen.
down. So that didn't take super long, but still I think should have been a mid TP there. Should have been with the other heroes. I mean, it's good to kill the tower, but should probably have been with the other heroes. And now he's gonna engage Mirana alone. This is not gonna end well. Like, this is just a complete arrogance from his part, I think. Maybe not.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So I don't know why he didn't get owned more there. Is the Mirana just... Okay, despite having a 7-0 lead, this Mirana has nothing. So that's why. Jakiro is still gonna be going in here. There's a fight going on in here. But of course, the Jakiro thinks he's a split pushing hero, so instead of in there actually doing, you know, what he should be doing, which is backing up his team. He's a really good team fight hero. He's all AoE. He's just over here split pushing.
Dire's
Even though he
bottom
can't
tower
really man
is
fight.
under
Like,
attack.
if 2 of the other heroes come over here, he's dead. Like, he can't handle that. I know I said that about the Mirana, but the Mirana still only has a Midas. Like, he should have had more. He's at 8-1. He should have had way more. He should have a big damage item. Should probably have had a Desolator. Or like a Lincoln's. But he didn't have an either, so he's really squishy. And that's partly because they don't have any support, so that the farm gets spread out. So yeah, like that worked out better than it should have, I think. Should have definitely been in mid. Could have
Radiant's
taken a
middle
tower in
tower
mid.
is
Like,
under
with 5
attack.
heroes and Jakiro, absolutely easily. But now he's overextending again. Like, there's no ward coverage. You can see there's a Terrorblade moving down here. If there's a ward here, this is a really good spot for a ward. Over here is a really good spot for a ward. Now he's just gonna get sandwiched between and... Oh, dodged the arrow. Nicely done. But, you know, still can't fight her. There's the Skywrath. Gonna whiff Skywrath's ulti. Macropire gonna hit nothing. Or actually just gonna be ignored by the Terrorblade. And now you're gonna die because you just ran around alone. Hang around your carries, for God's sake. Don't run around alone. Like, you're a support. Supports don't run around alone unless they're like placing walls or scouting out, or maybe jungling on the safe side. You don't run around on the enemy's side with no vision and all the enemy heroes up and expect to come out of that alive. Like, that's just not gonna happen. We have Night Stalker trying to man-fight here with just a Vanguard and a Phase Boost. And we still don't have a major item up on the Phantom Assassin yet. How about Abaddon? Abaddon's actually doing the best out of the entire team, it looks like. Or maybe Invoker. Invoker is doing decent. Looks like he's heading for an Aghanim's. Not sure how good that is on him. But Jakiro's up again. We're gonna see what he's doing. He's gonna go up here for the fight. No, he's actually just hanging out. Is he just waiting for a TP? No, he's just walking now. So getting this Ring of Health or Ring of Regen over a TP, definitely a mistake. Even if he got it before, like, keep money up for TP.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So yeah, like now he just has to walk up here and miss the team fight. This game is really weird, to be honest. A lot of things are happening that shouldn't be happening. Now Jakiro's just gonna go in here, farm, like harass the creeps. Not even farm them, just harass them instead of helping up here. Could have maybe saved the Invoker, now he's gonna die. Yeah, there's no reason for that at all. You have the mech. Like, if you're gonna buy the mech, you're gonna be in team fights. Like, you don't buy the mech and then just split push. That's really dumb. So, you know, this, you get this because you're a team fighter. This heals all of your team members around you, so you want there to be lots of team members. Yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Here he can just place an Ice Path. Yes, good. That's a really good thing you can do with the Ice Path, like a guaranteed hit. Now, the Naga took maybe 100 damage, 200 damage from that, less than from the dual breath of this. So,
Dire's middle tower has
Song of the
been
Siren,
denied.
gonna save the day here. And the Sunstrike almost gonna get her. Really good Sunstrike though. But yeah. Yeah, so here he should pop his mana boots. Should not go so far forward. Yeah. So this is a pretty farmed Jakiro. He should be, of course, when he's not buying any wands. Wards, I mean. He got a wand. Yeah. Now he's just gonna run around here. And now he's kind of struggling for mana because he's been using the Macropire. Else there's, you know, 1,000. He could literally cast these like 7 or 8 times. And he does have mana boost.
Dire's bottom tower
Now he
has
should
fallen.
definitely back, like he can't kill anything here. And dead. Yeah.
Risk a fall from starry heights.
So let's just see again. Looks pretty much the same, except Invoker is getting pretty good farm. Looks like he's doing pretty well. He's got by far the most last hits. Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So they're obviously winning. I don't know what I'd attribute this to. They have the better team composition. And it looks like they just kinda wander lanes and manage to push in a lot of towers. Of course, Jakiro has been pushing in towers, and he has been doing it semi-intelligently. Like, it's not terrible. I like what he's doing, I just don't like the way he's skinning it up and doing it alone. So he should definitely, like, him and Invoker can take a tower really easily. It's also really scary to walk into. But the thing with Jakiro is he's much more frightening as backup to, like, a hero like Night Stalker or P8, and he is alone. Because everything he has is AoE, it can hit several heroes. And you know, it's kind of, you know, he's not the best damage dealer. He's definitely back here. He's being way too far forward yet again. Like his entire team has just been pushed away from mid. So now he's just gonna get the enemies are just gonna come from here, and he's gonna get pincered again. So this is just a failure of game sense right here. He should definitely not be that far forward. And now he's 100% dead. Yeah. So that was, you know, that was just dumb. Like, he can't. There's no way Liquid Fire is gonna make you push in a tier 3 tower alone. So what were you really doing there? All you were doing is kind of being a big old, like, painting a target on your back and saying to the enemies, hey, you just chased my friends off mid, they're not over here, ergo you can just kind of move over here, pinch me down and kill me. I wasn't even carrying a TP. They could just click on me, see I don't have a TP, there's no way I can do anything but walk out. So yeah, not a fan of that move. I think overextending, pretty much a consistent problem here. As a hard support, definitely just look to be moving more with your carries, because if you're around like a carry, you are that much scarier, and just the fact that you are so tanky and you have the mech makes it difficult for them to just kill you off fast. But you can't really fight back. Like, you don't have that great damage. Now you should definitely be mid, like 100% be mid, because it is definitely action happening mid. Looks like Invoker's gonna get caught and gonna get killed maybe, or they're just gonna pincer the Mirana. Boy, would really be useful to have all these area of effect spells and this mech in middle right now. Yeah, instead we're just gonna see some kind of slow pushing of the lane here. Yeah, there's a fight going on right in here he could participate in, but doesn't look like he wants to do that either. So this is just kind of... yeah, I don't know why he's insisting on doing this. This is really bad. Now when it's happening right in front of him, he does participate. So there's that at least. Here we go. Maybe got 300 damage from the macro pyre there. And it's still not gonna get no kill. Pop the mech. Not gonna pop the mech. Big mistake not popping the mech there. Abaddon might pay for it. Nope, looks like he's gonna make it out anyway. But should have definitely popped the mech, save the Abaddon there. Gotta go on Nagasira, who's just kind of dirtling around, and she's low enough that maybe... Nope. See, this is what I mean. He has no shock damage. He's, you know, he just can't... You're not a fighter, you're a support. And now you're stuck alone again. So this is probably also gonna mean another death, because there's a Terrorblade and a Mirana. This Mirana's playing pretty well. We're seeing the casting point of Jakiro here, meaning he's gonna miss a few things. And we saw Mirana just doing that trick I just talked about before, with just being able to leap away. When you see Jakiro about to cast it, you can just use your mobility ability, in this case leap, or Anti-Mage's Blink, and just leap out of the way. So, you know, don't get stuck out alone. Don't walk around so much alone. It's kind of bad. Like, you're still definitely winning, like, you are up 6 towers. So you're still definitely winning despite a bit of deficit here, despite Mirana going 10 and 2. In part because Mirana only has a Diffusal Blade. She's going for Manta now. Really helped her out. She's still on brown boots, which is not so good. The Naga more online? Nope. Terrorblade. Kinda meh. Really meh. So this is really bad. Battlefield is finally up on this Phantom Assassin. So the farm on both sides, really disappointing, to be honest. Like, this is just not progressing at all. Jakiro, one of the most farmed heroes, just with these 3 items. And that's honestly not a good thing. Like, they should have way more. Let's see Invoker. Invoker's doing decent. Like, he's working steadily up towards his I have Skadi, which is gonna be a pretty good item. He's just gonna solo 2 heroes here. Yeah, so Invoker definitely definitely doing a lot better than the rest of his team here, I think.
Radiant's top
And honestly, I
tower
think
is under
Invoker,
attack.
just because of the Forge Spirits, is also a really good pusher. Like, I believe they reduce the armor of towers, so they actually do a lot of damage to towers, make it a lot easier. And that's a really good combo with
Dire's
Jakiro in that
bottom
regard.
tower is under attack.
So yeah, we're gonna see the Force Spirits, we're gonna see
Radiant's
the
top
damage
tower
reduction
is under
from the
attack.
Liquid Fire, and this thing is just gonna go down.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
And this, honestly, I think this is less about Liquid Fire doing a lot
structures
to push,
are fortified.
as much as our Jakiro player here,
middle
Matcuth, just
barracks
having
are
a
under
pushing
attack.
mentality. Just being aware of how important pushing is,
Dire's
and
middle
what
barracks
kind of
has
advantage killing towers gives you.
Dire's
Now
middle
they've got the
barracks
racks.
has
The
fallen.
racks are down. They should back out right now.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Except when they're getting fed couriers, then maybe they should. But you know,
Garrett
they're gonna be going on here. They're gonna lose the Phantom Assassin for nothing,
I do in her name.
and now maybe lose the Invoker if he's not careful. Should have definitely Ice Path or something there. Using your Ice Path too early, it's kind of a big deal. Go. Now Macropie is doing good damage just because Terrorblade decides to stand in it instead of walking 2 feet left. Yeah, so the game is all but won now. We're just gonna watch it out. And yeah, I'm gonna say that Jakiro here, overall, I mean, there's a lot of things he did right. I think he used his abilities right most of the time. I think he did a pretty good build here. I like these items a lot. And I think he's, you know, he's done a lot of what the support is supposed to do. I think he definitely needs to do wards. If you're gonna play a hard support like Jakiro, do wards. Just because, you know, you're not gonna have mana problems really. Like, he's even been using his Macropie, he still doesn't have mana problems. The only mana item he has is the boots.
Dire's
And,
middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think also the
Dire's
overcommitting, the
middle
running around
tower has
alone,
fallen.
trying to push alone, it's not something Jakiro can
Dire's
do.
ancient is under
If
attack.
you want to do stuff like that, grab a Pugna, or grab a Shadow Shaman, grab a... maybe not Shadow Shaman, but, you know, a Pugna or Lycanthrope, something like that.
Dire's ancient
Maybe a
is
Phantom
under
Lancer.
attack.
And you know, the Liquid Fire in the lane, I think is also a pretty big mistake.
Dire's ancient is under attack.
So yeah, it looks like they're just gonna get repelled a little bit
Dire's
mid,
bottom
but
tower is under
the
attack.
bot tower looks like it's about to fall. No, okay, maybe not about to, but it's taking a lot of damage. I don't like what Jakiro's doing here. He basically can't push this tower
Dire's
in. It's still at half
bottom
health.
tower is under attack.
He's just immense risk here. Most of his team is dead. Like, it's basically, if they spot him, that's a free engagement. Like, they can just 100% kill him, because he can't do any damage. Like, these abilities are all magic damage. We are starting to head into the late game. It's not gonna do enough. So he can't. Yeah, he's gonna try to engage here. My guess is gonna be that this is gonna go badly. There was a Phantom Assassin I hadn't seen, so that's not super dumb, but it's still pretty bad. She's gonna eat an arrow. It's gonna be pretty bad.
Allies disappear.
Yeah. So the success here is that
Dire's
none of you
bottom
died,
tower
even
is
though
under
you were in
attack.
2 up against 5. Pretty good use of Force Staff there. Yeah, they're gonna lose 1, they're gonna lose 2. I'm gonna call it now. Yep. Again, overextension. Maybe you're a bit YOLO here, because the game is won, but still, if you really thought you could accomplish anything over here alone, you can't. Like, you just can't. And that's why they're called supports. They support the heroes that actually get the farm and get the team fight potential up. Or, well, not the team fight potential, but get the big right clicks. Because if you can noodle the enemy's attacks,
Radiant's
these
bottom
liquid
tower
fires, you
is
can
under
stun them up
attack.
for 2.2 seconds with your ice paths.
Radiant structures
Then you
are
know, a hero
fortified.
like the Night Stalker or the Phantom Assassin or the Invoker
Radiant's
can
bottom
just clean up.
tower has
But here, of
fallen.
course, you know, an
Dire's
underfarmed
top tower is under attack.
Phantom Assassin. I still think she's pretty underfarmed here. Can't really clean up alone. If it was the Invoker, maybe he's really farmed, but Yeah, no go for the Phantom Assassin. Now Jakiro's gonna split push a bit more by himself. This isn't really something he can do. Again, you've got that wonderful, wonderful item, the mechanism. Or mechanism. Yeah, this is a team fight item. That's the main purpose of it. Get into a team fight, heal up a bunch, get a bunch of bonus armor, provide that lovely, lovely 4 HP a second regen aura. Yeah, it's not just for running around and healing your creep wave. That's really not what it's supposed to do, so not so good. And even this, like, it's taking him forever to go this way. If you're gonna do this, you shouldn't do this. First up, this is just, not gonna accomplish too much. And second of all, if you're gonna do this, use the dual breath. Like, it does a lot of damage, it does more damage than this, you don't have any mana problems, just hold off on using this 330 mana spell, and you have plenty. Like, this is 170 mana, 90 mana.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Now you're gonna get called out again. There's 2 scary enemy heroes here. There's only one of you. Yeah, you have a 4-star, but she has leap. And not a lot you can do. So if you thought you were safe there, you obviously weren't. And that's honestly a bit of a
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it looks like he knows that was a bit sketchy. I just had a phone call there before, so... so I got a bit distracted. Yeah. The game is all but over now. I think I've said about all I could about it. And looks like there's not so much that's gonna be too interesting. Pretty decent game, I think. Talked a lot about pushing. Didn't quite come across all the points I wanted, but just talked a little bit about what a pushing hero does and what you should look for to do. And of course a bit of support play, which I always love, even though we didn't see any wars, which I would have really liked. So my name has been Cerebellum. This has been Academy of the Ancients. It's been a replay review of Matcuth's Jakiro, and if you would like your replays reviewed, send them to AcademyOfTheAncients@gmail.com. There'll be a link to it right in the comment description. And of course, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I am out.